Hi, I'm Pamela. Welcome back to my channel. You can tell my setup is a little bit different today. I'm visiting my parents, so the setup is not ideal, but we're gonna make it work. I am very excited about today's video. Today I will be ranking my favorite STU MACHER quotes. If you know me, you know I love STU MACHER. You know I believe he is alive and will return in Scream 7.
STU MACHER is alive. He didn't die. We'll be right back.
And I know you guys all love Stu as well, whether you want him to return or not. But before we get started, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every single time I post. You can also now become a member of my channel if you're interested. Thank you to everyone who signed up already. I really appreciate it. If you want to become a member as well, you can find the join button down at the bottom of this video. And you can also find the join button on my channel. And I will also put a link in this description. Without wasting any more time, let's rank STU MACHER's quotes from Scream 1996. I spent my entire night last night making this fun little tier list. And I can also share the link to this in the description if you want to make your own STU MACHER quote ranking. All right, so here are all the quotes. We've got 27 of them, I believe. Yeah, we have 27. So we're gonna rank them in 5 different rows. S being superior, and then we have A, B, C, D. Pretty straightforward. Okay, we have our first quote being at the fountain scene in the beginning of the movie when Stu says, "Take a knife and gut him from groin to sternum." That one's a good one, but there's so many other better ones. So that one I'm gonna put this one in the last row, honestly. I mean, some of them have to go in the last row, right? Also, take into account that some of these quotes on their own might not be like the best quotes, but it's his delivery. It's Matthew Lillard's delivery of these lines. He really just brings this character to life, and the way he says some of these lines just make them so good. So I am taking his delivery into account. You'll see that some of these quotes are very basic and nothing special if you just read them, but it's the way he says it that is also factoring into this for me. So our next quote is in the same scene, the fountain scene, when everyone's together. And it's when he says, "It takes a man to do something like that."
The fact is, it takes a man to do something like that.
I really like that one. But like I said, there's so many other better ones. I'm gonna put this one in C. All right, our next one, same scene again, the fountain scene. He really just steals every scene that he's in. And the next one is "Live her alone."
Never alone.
Like I said, that alone is nothing special, but it's the way he says it. This one I'm gonna put in B. I feel like people quote this one all the time. I like this quote. Okay, our next quote is, "Look at this place, it's like Christmas."
You kidding me? Look at this place. It's like Christmas.
This is in the hallway scene with Sydney and Tatum when the prankster runs through the hallway and Sydney's like, "What's going on?" And Stu says, "Look at this place, it's like Christmas." That one's pretty basic, and the delivery also is nothing special. So I'm gonna put that one in D after the "gut him from groin to sternum" quote. This next quote is from the video store scene with Randy. When Randy says to Stu, "Do you think Sid will sleep with me? Or do you think I have a shot?" Stu laughs and says, Stu laughs and then gets all serious and says, no, I don't at all, no.
No, I don't at all. No.
Like I said, very basic quote, but it is his delivery. That one I'm gonna put that in B. Because it makes me laugh every time. And I'm putting it after Live Her Alone. Our next quote, another basic one, but it's the way he says it. It's at the party in the final act, the party that is at Stu's house. Of course, we all know this. And when Billy shows up to the party and Stu tells Sydney and Billy that they can go talk in his parents' room, he says, you know, you guys can talk or whatever.
No, you guys can talk. Whatever.
And Billy says, subtly, Stu. I'm gonna put that one in C. No, I'm gonna put it in D. There are a lot more better ones. Our next Stu quote is the same scene after Billy and Sydney go upstairs and Randy says, there goes my chance with Sid. Stu says, as if. That's all I'm saying, as if.
As if. That's all I'm saying. As if.
And then of course Randy says, oh really, Alicia? Did anyone notice that in the opening scene of Scream 5, on the cast list for Stab, Alicia Silverstone plays Tatum? I think that's so funny. That makes me appreciate this line so much more. As if I'm gonna put in row C after it takes a man to do something like that. I also might end up moving these around as I go. I don't know. I didn't rank these ahead of time. I'm literally doing this on the spot as I do this. So I might end up moving some of them around. Our next Stu quote is in the scene at the party when they're watching Halloween. The next quote is, when do we see Jamie Lee's breast? I want to see Jamie Lee's breast.
When do we see Jamie Lee's breast?
That one's really funny. It always makes me laugh. I'm gonna put that in B. After, no, I don't at all. Our next Stu quote is in the same scene when Randy is giving the rules to surviving a horror movie. And the first rule is you can never have sex. It's a sin. And Stu, his delivery on this absolutely kills me every time. It makes me laugh when he says, I'm a dead man, and sticks his tongue out. It's just so good.
I'm a dead man.
That one makes me laugh so much, even though the quote on its own is basic. That one makes me laugh, so I'm gonna put that one in A. Our first A ranking quote. Our next quote is the same scene. Randy's giving the rules to surviving a horror movie. And the third rule is never say you'll be right back, because you won't be back. And Stu says, hey, you want a beer? I'm getting one. Randy says, yeah, sure. And he says, I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
And of course, we all know he will be back in Scream 7.
STU MACHER is alive.
This one is pretty iconic. I'm gonna put it in A after I'm a Dead Man. All right, now we have gotten to the second part of the final act when everything is about to really go down. We've had the killer reveals. We know that it's Billy and Stu at this point. And we have Stu's reveal, quote, surprise, Sydney.
Surprise, Sydney.
This one is so iconic. I quote it all the time in my everyday life, even if people don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This one is definitely going in the S tier. Definitely a superior quote. Our next Stu quote, Stu says to Sydney, "We ask you a question, you get it wrong, you die."
We ask you a question, and if you get it wrong, booga, you die.
This one I'm gonna put in the B tier. I like it, but all the ones coming up probably top it. As you can see, some of the best Stu quotes are all in the end after he reveals himself. He really just comes to life after the killer reveal and really just gives it his all. The next quote is when he's weirdly close to Billy and all up on him. And Sydney says, "You guys are crazy." Stu says, "We prefer the term psychotic."
We prefer the term psychotic.
I like this one. I'm gonna put it in A at the end. This next one always makes me laugh when Billy and Stu are explaining their plan and how they prepared for it. Stu says, "Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun."
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
This one makes me laugh every time. This one is definitely going in the S tier. Definitely superior. This next one is so funny. The delivery is phenomenal. "Let's face it, Sydney, your mother was no Sharon Stone."
Because let's face it, Sydney, your mother was no Sharon Stone.
S tier without a doubt. I think I'm gonna bump it up before this one. I think this one goes before watch a few movies, take a few notes. "Let's face it, Sydney, your mother was no Sharon Stone." This next quote also makes me laugh every time. "You gave it up, now you're no longer a virgin."
You gave it up. Now you're no longer a virgin.
This one I am gonna put, it in the A tier. I think I'll put it in the second spot. After I'm a dead man, and before I'll be right back, and before we prefer the term psychotic. This next quote he says immediately after, "Now you're no longer a virgin." He says, "Now you gotta die, those are the rules."
Now you gotta die. Those are the rules.
This one I'm gonna put it in the B tier. And I'm gonna put it in, I think I'm gonna put it after "When do we see Jamie Lee's breasts?" Our next quote is, "We got a surprise for you, Sydney. You're gonna love this one. It's a scream, baby."
Got a surprise for you, Sydney. Yeah, you're gonna love this one. It's a scream, baby.
This one I love and I quote probably daily. I think I'm gonna put it in A tier. And I think I'll actually put it in the first slot of the A tier just because, you know, he says the movie title. I like when movies do that.
It's a scream, baby.
This next one is one of my absolute favorites. "I'm ready, baby. Get it up."
I'm ready, baby. Tonight, get up.
That one is absolutely going in the S tier. I think I'm gonna put it after "Your mom is no Sharon Stone" and before "Watch a few movies, take a few notes, it was fun." "I'm ready, baby. Get it up." Our next quote, all in the same scene. They just keep coming and coming. He really just gives it his all in this scene. The next quote is, "Let's face it, baby. These days, You gotta have a sequel.
Cause let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel.
This one is so good, and he's so crazy the way he delivers this line. And I also quote this one almost daily, even if no one knows what I'm talking about. This one I'm gonna definitely put in S tier. I'm gonna put it after Get It Up and before Watch a Few Movies, Take a Few Notes. Let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel. Stu never got to carry out his sequel until Scream 7. This next one makes me laugh every time. I'm feeling a little woozy here.
I'm feeling a woozy here.
Again, it is the delivery. The quote on its own is nothing special, but the delivery just makes it. It's so good. This one I'm gonna put in the S tier. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the S tier, but I'll put it at the end of the S tier. This next one, when Gail shows up, again, just makes me laugh every time. I feel like this line was improvised. When Billy says to Stu, I thought she was dead. And Stu says, she looked dead, man. Still does.
She looked dead, man. Still does.
I feel like that wasn't in the script. And Matthew Lillard just added that. Does anyone know? Can anyone tell me if that line was improvised? Comment down below. This one, let's see. I think I'll put it in the A tier, but where do I place it in the A tier? That is the question. I think I'll put it after You're No Longer a Virgin and before I'll Be Right Back. I really like this one. Our next quote is, I think I'm dying here, man.
I think I'm dying here, man.
That one makes me laugh too. Like, they really thought that they would be invincible and be able to just stab each other with no consequences.
Everybody dies, but us.
This one's not my favorite though. Let's see. I think I'll put it in the D tier. Yeah. Our next quote is when Sydney has now taken over. She's talking to Stu on the phone and she says, Stu, Stu, Stu. Billy has his motive. What's yours gonna be? And he says, peer pressure. I'm far too sensitive.
Peer pressure. I'm far too sensitive.
That one is really funny. Where should I put this one? I think I'm gonna put this one in the A tier. After you gave it up, now you're no longer a virgin, and before she looked dead, man, still does. I love that that's Stu's motive and he just comes up with it so quickly too after Sydney asks him. Like, he doesn't even think about it for a second. He just says it right away. Peer pressure. I'm far too sensitive. This next one makes me laugh every time. I believe this one was improvised. I feel like I've heard that before, but I'm not too sure. When Billy hits Stu with the phone and he says, fucking hit me with the phone, dick.
Fucking hit me with the phone, dick.
I feel like this one has to be high up. I'm gonna put it in the A tier. After peer pressure, I'm far too sensitive. And before she looked dead, man, still does. Whoops, I did the wrong one. Fucking hit me with the phone, dick. This next one I feel like is everyone's favorite Stu quote, and I believe Matthew Lillard said himself that it's his favorite one. My mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me.
My mom and dad are gonna be so mad.
His delivery is just so good. I know I keep saying that, but pure magic. My mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me. Has to go in the S tier, right? Let's see, but where in the S tier do I place it? I think I'm gonna put it after These Days You Gotta Have a Sequel and before Watch a Few Movies, Take a Few Notes. It was fun. Last but not least, our final Stu quote of the movie. I always had a thing for you, Sid.
I always had a thing for you, Sid.
I so need to hear Stu say that once again in Scream 7. This one, I think it's gotta go in the S tier also. But where in the S tier is the question. This is a tough one of where to place it within the S tier. Because all the ones I have in there right now are so good. I think I'm gonna put it after My Mom and Dad Are Gonna Be So Mad at Me and before Watch a Few Movies, Take a Few Notes. It was fun. Let's see, let me review this and see if I'm happy with everything. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's what we gotta go with. This was so much fun. At the end of the video, I'll try to like zoom in so you guys can see all of the quotes clearly. I guess I should have made the text bigger and I apologize for that. Like I said, I will link this tier maker in the description if you'd like to have some fun and do this yourself and rank Stu quotes. Stu is definitely one of my favorite characters, and every single quote from him is just so good because, like I said, Matthew Lillard just brought this character to life. I've heard people say before that this character on paper in the script really had not much going on, like the way Kevin Williamson wrote him, and Matthew Lillard just did so much with this character. I don't think anyone else could have played Stu Macher but him, and this is why we need to see him again in Scream 7. He needs to return. There are some people out there who get so mad, genuinely upset at the idea of Stu returning, and I say to that, why? Like, why wouldn't you want to see this man on screen again? It absolutely would make sense to the story if you do it correctly. He was supposed to return in Scream 3, so that alone just proves that he very well could have survived. Anyone who argues that he couldn't survive that, guess what? He was supposed to, so it's very possible within a fictional movie. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This video was so much fun, and if you guys enjoy it, I will probably do this with other characters in the future. Definitely Randy Meeks has a lot of good lines. Billy, of course. Tatum, Gail, Dewey. The possibilities are endless. So comment down below and let me know who you would like to see next if you guys like this video. Once again, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every single time I post. And you can also become a member now if you choose. I really appreciate all the support on my channel. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I love making these videos, so stay tuned for more. You can also follow me on TikTok where I post daily, multiple times a day, and I'll be right back.